All right. Good morning, Alcohol of Fame members. So I got Matt Carlson, aka the Ass Champ, and Dinner Plates here recording with me. This is something we've been wanting to do for a while. Matt, Din, and I have been talking about podcasting for a couple years. And Matt and I came up with an idea a year and a half ago to start recording this podcast. And it took Matt a lot of convincing and continuous pressure to finally get this off the ground. We're going to take you guys through our matchup previews that we do every week. We're going to take you guys through power rankings that we do every week. And Din's got his own special thing cooking up for today. And we'll see whatever that is, because we all know he doesn't watch football. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to the bearded wonder himself to start taking us through matchup previews.
Thanks, Dusty. So we're going to start with what could be the toilet bowl of the week, me versus Val. And what can we say? Val's team stinks. My team's worse. Poor drafting, poor roster management, poor roster decisions. My team is just ass. Needs to be relegated.
That's why you're the ass champ.
It's true, man. That is true. Just not in the good way. So Val takes this one because my team just absolutely sucks. Next up, it's the commish versus Sean. And Sean has been going just nuclear for 2 weeks in a row, but he has started to drop back to earth just like he did last year. This one comes down to some quarterback play, and I think Justin walks away with this one. And everyone's favorite villain, Steve, takes on Brian, formerly known as Ryan. What can we say about Steve's team? His team is just going nuclear every single week, putting up top 3 in scoring every single week. Highest scoring. This one's not even going to be close. And he gets Alvin Kamara this week. Steve walks away with this one pretty easy. Next up, we got Anthony and Jeff. And this one I think is actually going to be the highest scoring for this week. I mean, they both got juicy matchups across both sides. But I don't think Keenan Allen does what he does last week, fucking me in the process and scoring almost 50 points. I think the QB stack finally gets going for Anthony, and I think the Diggs-Allen connection's finally there. And Joshua Kelly's been fucking terrible. So I think Anthony grabs off this one. Kenny and Kevin, everyone's favorite stepbrother, coming through, even though Kenny is coming off an absolute monster week, and which I think finally saved Kenny's season. I think it's going to come down to a few things, but Jamar Chase has finally stepped up, and I think that's the difference. He keeps it going this week, and Kevin pulls this one out. And Din, this one's up for you, though I don't think you're going to pull this one out. Because you unfortunately had some shit luck last week. Second most points scored, but you had to play Kenny, who scored the most points last week. So shit luck, but I think Tyreek's going to have another monster game, and I think Alex takes this one.
Well, I hope my bench outscores Alex this week, so we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Well, you know
Welcome
what?
to my world.
Even if Din loses, I still think he could take Alex in an arm wrestling contest. All right. Moving on to the power rankings, everyone's favorite power rankings. I think this is Val's least favorite segment of the week. So, sorry, gents. We'll go bottom to top here. That's my favorite way to go. Number 12 is the aforementioned Alex. All that time in the gym, can't help his fantasy team. He's got some solid players. Hall has been a complete miss this year, but Lamar, Hill, and Pollard, these are guys that if they're hot, they can win you a week. Literally, Hill will win you a week. Lamar is the best quarterback in the league, much better than Jalen Hurts. If these guys stay hot, Alex is going to win some games. But 3 guys alone aren't going to get you to the playoffs. And what we know about Alex is once the season starts, I think he completely just deletes the app and has nothing to do with it for the rest of the year. Occasionally logging on to set his lineup. Next up is Matt, the ass champ. I personally cannot wait to see Matt eat a really spicy chip. If you ask anybody, this is my pick for the person to eat the chip at the beginning of the year, because just imagine that big brown beard with a bright red face for a whole draft. Matt, string of poor lineup decisions, mediocre play from Waddle. Henry was washed before the season. We all knew it. Matt didn't know it. Matt's a guy that loves to live in the past with his teams and his lineups. It's what are you going to do for me next? What not what have you done for me already? Next up is Val. Can anybody believe that Val is not in last place in the power rankings?
It hurt my feelings a little bit when I saw these rankings for the first time. I thought I should be better than that, but I'm not, and here we are.
You're right. You should be better than that, and you're not.
That's what living in the past gets you, man.
Make or break it today.
Val has a track record in this league of just having the worst possible luck, and that continued this year. When the person that never misses a game, Travis Kelce, actually missed a game, and then he started dating Taylor Swift. So that's 2 L's right there. Next up is Din. Din is 0-3, but I still chose to put him above Matt, Val, and Alex because he's a great dancer and he has great taste in music. But Din's team has like a legit league winner in Zach Moss if Jonathan Taylor does not come back to the Colts. So that's a really big if. But Zach Moss has looked honestly better than Jonathan Taylor has looked in that offense. Number 8 is AY Anthony Yano. He's at a 2-1 record. He's the lowest on this list with the winning record. He's had one of the easiest schedules so far, actually the easiest with the fewest points scored against him. But this team has a ton of depth, and as the season goes on, depth is what is going to win out. So I could see this team really middling along and with a shot to make the playoffs. Next up is Kenny. I pull for Kenny every year because I don't think anyone cares more about fantasy football than Kenny. These 18 weeks of the season are probably the best weeks of his year. But he just got off to a really poor start. He had a really solid week last week, basically fueled by one player. But that one player fueled him to the second most points ever scored in league history.
Fuck him.
Kenny at the expense of Din. It really remains to be seen if Mostert can continue to stay hot like that. It's a great Dolphins offense, but Mostert has probably one of the most storied injury histories for any running back ever. So I think it's just a matter of time before he blows another ACL. Next up, we got Ryan, the new addition to the league. I just got to say, Ryan's been a great addition to the league. From Jump Street, just been very involved. Very analytic. His draft grades were a little sus. I don't know what equations he was using, where those algorithms came from. I think they were Val's algorithms, probably based on how poor they were. But Ryan's been a solid addition to the league. He's at a 2-1 record right now. I'd say the team is probably losing a bit of steam. Mike Williams just tore his ACL out for the year. Josh Palmer, temporary replacement, but definitely not going to give him the same production. Aaron Jones came back this week and gave him absolutely nothing. So this team, honestly, it's ranked 6th, but I'd say the trajectory is definitely pointing down, and it needs to make some moves to start turning it back in the other direction. Next up is Din's cousin, Jeff. Jeff's at 2-1 right now. He's had some tough luck this year too. Jacobs has not been good. He lost J.K. Dobbins before the season, really once the season got started. But Keenan Allen has been a big boon, especially with Mike Williams tearing his ACL. And, Trevor Lawrence, he hasn't played, I don't think, to the level that he's capable of yet. If that Jags offense can be the offense that they were supposed to be, T-Law could be a top 5 quarterback. But given like what we've seen today from the Jags offense so far, I don't know if it's ever going to get there. Next up is myself. Solid running back depth on this team, sitting at 2-1. That running back depth has really helped survive just some early season injury woes, tough breaks so far at quarterback with Richardson. I'm a firm believer that Richardson is going to be a monster this year. He's just got to stay healthy. And so looking for a bounce back from him this week. Barkley should be back in about 2 weeks. This team's really not that great at wide receiver. Has made some moves to try to boost that position. But the rest of my trade requests keep getting denied. So, this is my plug that I'm out here to make everyone else's team better, not just mine. Look at my trades, accept my trades.
It's a win-win. It's a win-win.
It's a win-win-win, actually. There's 3 wins there. Next up is Kevin, everyone's favorite step brother. Kevin's had a rough go of it, even though he is 2-1. Everyone knows my favorite player in the league is Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow has been an absolute ass this year. And Kevin rode that as long as he could, turned to Jordan Love, who looked like he was complete ass for the first half of the game this week, and had some garbage time touchdowns that saved him. I'd say Kevin probably has the worst starting running back in the league in Najee Harris on his squad. Makes me want to throw up even thinking about having to start that guy. But Chase is starting to get hot. Walker has outperformed his ADP. Everyone thought Walker was going to be dead in the water with Zach Charbonnet joining town. But that hasn't been the case. And where Kevin got Walker in the draft has been really beneficial for his team. And then Thielen, like Golden Gloves, cannot seem to be stopped. Age will not stop him. The color of his gloves will not stop him. His quarterback play will not stop him. He's been solid. Next up, number 2, Sean, my opponent this week. Hey, I got to say, Sean, this guy knows his football. And I guess anybody that can be a Jags fan for their whole life has got to have a passion for football. Because outside of being a Raiders fan or a Bears fan, or a Cowboys fan, I don't think there's any worse franchise that you can root for. But his squad, solid from top to bottom. Made an early season trade with the commish to gain Kyron Williams for his Christian Kirk. That seemed to be really lopsided in the beginning. It seems to be evening out, maybe a little bit more leaning towards Kirk now. But Swift has been an absolute case of found money. Nobody thought Swift was going to be able to do what he's doing. If he can stay healthy, which he hasn't really been able to do, but if he can, that's a guy that can really lead you to a championship. And then number 1, pains everyone to see this guy at the top of the rankings. I feel like it's 2017 again. Steve's actually doing well in fantasy football. But Steve's sitting at 3-0. We all mocked him for taking Kirk Cousins so early. What the frick was he thinking? But Cousins turned out to be the number 1 QB so far. The Cousins Jefferson stack, it's just automatic. And he gets Kamara back this week. And that should be a big boost. Those other New Orleans running backs have not looked good. So I think Kamara gets a ton of work coming back. It's probably a top 10 RB the rest of the way. I think it probably hurts Steve a lot that no one is looking at his trades. No one accepts his trades. We all know when you guys don't accept Steve's trades, he threatens to leave the league. So just throw him a little bone, accept his trades, or at least play with him a little bit so that he sticks around. So that's my week 4 power rankings. Top to bottom, we got Steve, Sean, Kevin, Justin, Jeff, Ryan, Kenny, Anthony, Din, Val, Matt, and Alex. And now we got Din's true rankings is what I'll call them, the true rankings.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you, Justin, taking us through it sounds like a very subjective power rankings. I'm going to take us through something that's a little bit more objective. We know that ugly people lose, handsome people win, right? So I'm taking this from the top or from the bottom to the top. The best looking teams, the ugliest teams. We already know, right? So who's got the ugliest team in the league right now? Number 12 coming in hot is my boy Alex Price, Back to the Future. Dude, your QB, this guy Lamar Jackson. Oh God, I threw up.
Oh, you're going after Lamar? Oh no.
I threw up. I literally threw up in my mouth when I opened up my app for the first time since the draft and saw this guy's face. So moving on to number 11. Oh, my cousin, man, Kittles and Bits. This team. This team is it's an okay looking team, but it's the second ugliest team in the league, man. Trevor Lawrence. This guy looks like Jesus in 2023. So, and then number 10, we got Lazarus, Justin Myers. I don't know who the fuck Anthony Richardson is. Never heard of him. All I know is that he's got worms for hair and is probably one of the third ugliest quarterback I've ever seen in the league. So, coming in at number 9, the Jeffersons, Kirk Cousins. Oh man, this is the Brady Bunch dad. Now that I've learned that Steve drafted him so early, what are you thinking, Steve? Like, come on, man, we get somebody younger. This guy's old news. And coming in at number 8 is Piper's Pit, Anthony Yano, Josh Allen. This guy needs to learn how to grow facial hair. Just really spotty. Really spotty. He needs to take a book out of Matthew Carlson's page. Okay.
He can learn from you too.
And learn how to grow some facial hair. It's just a little spotty. Number 7, I ranked myself there. This guy, Justin Fields, bird nest hair. Like I'm not into the look.
He looks like a guy that will absolutely steal your girl, though. Like, look at that face. He's scheming.
He is. But the bird nest hair, man, it's hard to look past that. And then number 6, I got way too feng shui, Sean. Once again, okay looking team. He might be solid from top to bottom from a performance perspective, but just one of the ugliest mid ranking when it comes to how good he looks. And number 5, Val. Top 5, baby. Val, you made it. You made it big with this guy Jalen Hurts, man. He's a good looking guy. He's just kind of a stud. I'm feeling him. And then number 4, we got Brosifer, Kevin. And number 3, we have Apple Valley Jackalope, Antelopes, Patrick Mahomes. I'm gonna have to give him number 3. He's got terrible taste in women. We all know that. But he's a good looking dude. And number 2, Kenny. You made it into the top 3, man. Here it is. Brock Purdy. Oh man, he just reminds me of Tom Brady. Right? This is a guy that you take to church on Sunday, take home to mom, take out to dinner. This is the future Tom Brady of the league. Stud all around. And then number 1, I got to give it to Big Daddy. I have to give it to Big Daddy. This Tua Tagovailoa guy, dude, he's giving me big dick energy. Big dick energy. I don't know what it is about him, but he's a stud. Number 1 for me. There it is. Top to bottom. And what matters.
Happy to be there. I'm happy to be number 1 for once.
What did we just witness? Thank you for taking us through your rankings of the attractiveness of grown men that play football.
That's what matters, man.
I'd expect nothing less, man. Well, hey, that's everything we got for you guys. Hope you guys have a great Sunday, magical Sunday. Good luck in your matchups, unless your name is Sean. And let us know what you think. We'd love to hear what your thoughts, any ideas that y'all have for us in the podcast. We're doing this for us, we're also doing this for you and trying to make this the most fun, best fantasy football league it can be. So shoot me, Matt, or Dan a text. Let us know if there's anything you'd like to see different in the future. You can Venmo me if you want to climb in the power rankings. $5 donation gets you 2 spots up. That being said, gentlemen, any closing words?
If you look at the history of this league, you see Val has 3 separate of the highest scoring weeks in the top 10. Yet she is the bottom of how many wins she has over the entire history of this league. Val's luck is just something else.
It's shit.
So, go fuck yourself today, Val. That's all I got.
All right, y'all. Have a great Sunday. Take care. Peace.
See you guys.